So hey guys, we're starting out with a little bit of a different view today. I am sitting on the back of Frankenbuggy here, and what we need to do is figure out where we're going to mount this gas tank. Now the gas tank, this is actually the mount for the gas tank. I want it centered because gas is the heaviest part of the rear end here. There's 10 gallons in there at 8 pounds a gallon. We're looking at 80 to 100 pounds. So I want it centered, but as you can see, that battery is going to be in the way. So I'm thinking what I have to do. It also is 10 inches high. I don't want it real high, so I'm thinking I'm going to come about 4 inches up from the transaxle there. It's got to be back a little bit, so I got to rebend this this tubing here because that's in the way. The hydraulic clutch. But I'm going to have to take the battery mount out and cock that to the side. Now if I put the battery this way, it takes less room back here. The problem with that is I like being able to slide that battery in through the side here. If I put it to the side there, then it's going to go up and over and then down. Batteries are a little heavy too, but that's how many times, how often do you have to take the battery in and out. So this is the old gas tank mount there. That's going to get cut off. I'm going to cut the battery mount off, kick it to the side here, and then that will give me plenty of room then to mount this in here. Let's get a tape, because the gas tank's going to be, it's 10 inches high, so figure about 14 inches from this point here. That'll be about right there. This will eventually be a firewall across here. So all right, I got to get busy cutting out some old mounts, turn this one to the side 90 degrees, and then build the supports for this new gas tank mount. All right, I think we can get this done today. And then we got the new fuel pump there installed and working. We'll hear this thing run. All right guys, I'll be back. All right. Out with the old, in with the new. Want to center this gas tank. Got to be in here, 4 inches above that transaxle. So it looks like I'm going to take some structure from this bar up to here and this bar down to here, and then the outlets for the gas go there. All right, let's get to building. Now the fun starts. Get to do some fabrication, get that all mounted up. Then I got to get some fittings here. I don't know why it has 2 outlets. Probably for a fuel injection system. You got your return. These are vents on the top. Gas gauge there. So yeah, it's going to be pretty sweet when we get that all hooked up. All right, guys, I can get some work done. Well, guys, I tell you, that was a little bit of work, but still a little fine tuning, but that is how it's going to be sitting. Let's bring that over here a little bit. I don't know, we'll do a little bit of fine tuning. Got to shoot some screws into this little platform here and that there. That's where the tank is going to mount. But that's how it's going to be sitting in there. That's not going anywhere. And it still gives me plenty of room under here to do whatever I have to do. If I gotta work underneath it. The last thing I want to do is I have to take the tank out to do any work there. But I'm going to set it in there real quick, see how that looks. All right, I just set that tank on that mount there to see how that's going to look, and well, that's going to look pretty good. Okay. Now I'm going to be putting some rubber padding up underneath here. Bolt that down tight. It's not sticking above the framework of the car. Plenty of room underneath to work on it. Yeah. Any little wobble there will be taken up by the cushion I put in there, but I think once I bolt that down it'll be okay. And then we'll go ahead and run a line from here to here into the carburetor. All right, I'm gonna go eat a sandwich. Time for some lunch, and then we'll finish this up for the day. We'll see you in a bit. Well, hey guys, it's been a day. Let me get you a little caught up here, because I did some work on the steering, and I didn't do a video about that. So where to start here? I mentioned in the last video I was going to put a plate here and mount the new rack and pinion to it. Ran the bolts through here, and then bring the heim joints in nice and tight there, so to lengthen the tie rod there. So the only thing really left on the steering is the U-joint. Now I have this U-joint here. This is for a 5/8 shaft, and that's a 3/4. So I'm gonna have to do a little fabrication on that. My 1-inch tubing, 190 or 095 tubing wall, the thickness of it, 095, fits nice and snug over this. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make a slice in it and weld a nut and a little collar for a bolt so it can squeeze down. Because apparently these racks aren't getting made anymore, and to find the proper U-joint there for that, if I do find one, it's going to be awfully expensive. So I'm going to make my own little collar there that'll squeeze down on them splines, and as it works, those teeth, those splines will work their way into the tubing, and I keep tightening it up until it'll make its own little splines. So I'll weld that on there. Let's see if I can get that down in there. So, little tight fit here. Anyways, so I'll weld the collar that I make onto the U-joint, and then it'll slide on there, nut and bolt, be nice and tight. And then all I have to do is change this angle a little bit of the steering rod there. So if you look down this way, I got plenty of room here. I got a couple inches there that I can go down, and you know, it'll work out just fine, just like that. Just by breaking these tacks and rotating that a little bit, I'll be able to aim that straight down to there. See, there's plenty of room there. So that's how that's going to work. Now, as far as the camber issue, I am going to end up shortening my upper A-arms here. Now, when I first built these A-arms, the camber was just ridiculous. It was, I think it's the positive camber when it's leaning in. So that's when I added these 2 inches here. Well, I'm going to end up, after I even up the threads on these heims here, you see that's about a 1/2 inch and that's about 1 inch there. So this one here will have a 1/2 inch cut, more cut out of it than this one here. So then the adjustment on those heims will be equal. And then I also am going to shorten it about 1 inch. I might start out with a couple of degrees of the positive camber, and by the time it works through the suspension travel, it'll straighten. I just don't want it going to a negative camber. So that's what I'm going to do there. As far as the bump steer, that's not besides the camber. I think the camber would probably cause me some problems too. A little work I'm going to do on this upper plate of these spindles. I'm actually going to have to, I'm going to bring it up about 1 inch, bring this all up too. So, because if you can see, looking at it, that's not perfectly parallel to the lower arm there. It's darn close. This one's worse because I just tacked pieces of rod together to make the steering rods. But there's probably about a 1/2 inch difference there, and I want that absolutely perfect there. So anything I can do to eliminate bump steer. So then today, as you saw, I made the gas tank mount, and I made the platform, the mount, yesterday, and then everything to mount it to the car I did today. Now I've got to come back, make things pretty here, but you know, it was a day as it is, and there's a lot on this car I need to make pretty again. So like I said in the past video, I'm going to end up stripping this thing all the way down, flip it upside down, well, sandblast it, flip it upside down, and there's a bunch of welding I need to do that is on the bottom side of things. So it's a little bit more than tacked together right now, but it's not fully welded either. So but but that's going to come after I make all the panels. I still got to make panels, but I tell you, and I did mention this morning that I'm going to change the angle, flip that battery around 90 degrees so it's not actually underneath the gas tank there. So that's how that's fitting there. And we got a carburetor on order because this carburetor has a clogged the accelerator jet. It will actually start and run off of the idle circuit, but the accelerator jet is totally clogged with corrosion and it's just not going to get clean. So we went ahead and we ordered a new carburetor. That's on the way. And then new lower pulley. It was real funny. I think it was on my Instagram. I posted a reel of this thing running, and a guy said, "Oh, that bottom that bottom pulley looks like a Lay's potato chip." And I started laughing so hard because it really does. And then the seat's gonna go to the upholstery shop, and you know, this car's starting to come together. Very exciting. I can't wait to take it out in the desert and do some driving. Used to ride motocross, so I'd always say riding, but with this thing I'll be driving. One kind of a big issue is I got a good deal on these shocks, but if you look at the spring rate of these shocks, I do not need 450-pound springs on the back of a VW buggy. So that's got to be changed. The front suspension works just fine. I'm real happy with how that's working. But yeah, there she is, guys. That looks totally badass with a new gas tank sitting on the back there also. So anyways, thanks a lot for watching, guys, and you know, hanging with me through my projects. We got more to go. Oh boy, the Opel is going to be a total redo on that. Rally bugs underneath the tarp there because it's been raining like crazy. We actually got the little adjuster for the front I-beams, so we're going to be narrowing and lowering the front of Black Betty. And my son just told me that the cam is built, and it's on the way to build the LS for the C10. So lots of exciting stuff is happening here at Weininger Racing, and we're glad to have you guys along with us. So like and subscribe, of course, and you know, tell your friends. And if anyone's liking to watch things get built, and you know, eventually we'll get this stuff out driving. So anyways, everyone have a good evening, and thanks again for watching.